What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to another top list with FG3000. In today's video, the top 5 gods of 2014. Now, it's been a long year and you might not remember exactly which gods came out, but don't you worry, OFG got you covered. So, from the top of the list in the order that the gods were released, here we go.
Get it.
Nemesis.
Scylla.
Cabrakan.
Osiris.
Yanis.
Rom.
Sakit.
Cabrakan.
Sylvanas.
Nox.
Awilix.
And there you have it, 13 gods were released in 2014. However, there can only be 5 in a top 5 list, and I know that's obvious, but what's not obvious is the criteria that I use to pick these gods, and here it is. It has nothing to do with overpowered or underpowered. It is purely based on the model, the voice pack, sound effects, the abilities, the fun factor. That is what this list is based on, nothing to do with the current meta. Now, you know the way that my videos always work, so pause the video right now, go into the comment section below and type in your top 5 gods of 2014, and let's see how our list compares, shall we? Without any further ado, let's go into the 5th best god of 2014.
Cabrakan.
So Hi-Rez knocks it out of the park on quite a few levels when it comes to Cabrakan. First off, let's talk about his model. Big, burly, muscular. Hi-Rez had the task of convincing us that this guy was a destroyer of mountains, and I am bought into that vision, completely convinced. Great job on the model. Also, his bellowy voice pack, while simple, does a fantastic job in embodying all that is Cabrakan. I'll sum it up in just a few words. You did good. And lastly, the sound effects on the abilities really seal the deal when you play Cabrakan, fully immersing you in this character. Now, when you lay his number 3, which is his tremors or his ultimate tectonic shift, the sound effects sell it. It feels like you actually stomped a hole in your lane, or you're actually bringing down the walls and slamming gods' faces in with 2 massive shields. And that, my friends, is why Cabrakan is your number 5.
Awilix.
Coming in at number 4, Awilix, the very first true mounted god of SMITE, and she makes the list because she is the very first true mounted god of SMITE, but she does have a little bit more going on for her as well. Her model is fantastically well done. When I played Awilix recently in the Siege, walking through the jungle with my bare feet, honestly, I felt like I was playing a single player game of Tomb Raider. Like, that's how well she fits into the Mayan theme, how well she fits in her character, her demeanor. Everything about her just works as far as her model's concerned. So, you know, you can say anything you want about the lack of diversity in female body types in SMITE, and I'm not going to disagree with you, but for this character, this body type, this design, it works. Now, Awilix does have a slight misstep when it comes to her voice pack. I do feel personally that it's a little high-pitched for my taste. When I think about this character, when I look at her, I feel like she should be a little bit more rugged than she sounds, but once again, that is completely opinionated in that sense. As far as the actual voice lines, they are very, very well done. So I'm gonna give her a pass on the voice pack, and I'm gonna say it comes all the way down to preference. Now, her abilities. We cannot talk about Awilix without talking about her number 1 ability, the Jaguar. Jumping on this mount feels like it's supposed to feel, right? So Hi-Rez could have gotten this so wrong. They could have given you a mount that you really couldn't use, or something that was like a temporary cooldown, or something that didn't make you move faster. I mean, they could have went so wrong. Yet they nailed it on all 3 checkboxes, in my opinion. Now, the very first checkbox being, you have to move faster. Done. Number 2, you have to be able to mount and stay on your mount like a real mount. Doesn't leave until you dismiss it. Nailed it again. And number 3, you have to be able to Yoshi off your mount and attack someone, and she does a fantastic job on that. Hi-Rez nailed all 3 of my checkboxes. Well done. Not to mention her ultimate is a move that we have sorely, sorely needed in SMITE. When you think about how many gods have been added to this game that have leaps and jumps and all manner of getting away from FG when I for sure had that kill, Not anymore with the Wheelix. You have somebody jumping or backflipping away from you, you pop your ultimate, drag them right back down to the ground to the meat grinder, and that alone is probably one of the most satisfying abilities in the game right now. So in conjunction with her highly detailed model, her mount, her ultimate, Wheelix is your number 4 god of 2014.
Scylla.
Coming in at number 3, Scylla. Now when Scylla first hit the game, she completely took over the world. Her number 1 Sikkim made you and 2 of your closest friends closer than you've ever been before. Her number 2 Crush has been called her second ultimate. Her number 3 Sentinel has evaded many a jungle ganks, and number 4, her ultimate I'm a Monster, probably has as many triple quads and pentas as Poseidon's Kraken. This is Scylla. Now say what you want about the similarity or the inspiration between this guy and another character from a different game that I never even heard of. Let's talk about Scylla, shall we? Now all of the lore that I've seen on Scylla, they do not portray her as a little girl. And this is why I like this model so much, is because Hi-Rez really flexed their creative freedom with this character, giving us this prim and proper cute little girl, but she's a monster underneath it all, literally. And it doesn't stop with her model as well. Her animations are really well done. The way she kind of skitters across the lane with her hands behind her back looking all innocent. But hey, trust me, you don't want to trust the Scylla. No jump parties in 2015. That should be your New Year's resolution. But let's get back to Scylla. So her voice pack also really hits the mark. Now, when you make little kid voices in these games, it's really hard to make them sound like a little kid, but not be annoying. So Cupid is a really good example of a little kid voice that is just too grating on the ears. It gets annoying after 2 seconds. Neja to a lesser degree, but I'm not gonna subscribe to that one. But Scylla does a really good job of sounding like a little kid, sounding super cute, sounding evil at the same time, and not being super annoying altogether. So Scylla, fantastic character. We don't see her enough anymore. So try her out in 2015. Your number 3 2014 God of the Year, Scylla.
Nemesis.
And the runner-up this year, the artist formerly known as a warrior turned assassin, Nemesis is your number 2 2014 God of the Year. Now let's start off by talking about Nemesis kit. She has the Swiss Army knife of kits in SMITE right now, and if you don't know what that means, it means she has everything. Her swift vengeance will chase down people and get you out of danger. Her slice and dice, even though it has the biggest freaking radial cone, you can't miss with this ability. It still feels so good to finish off a runner with that move. Her number 3 Retribution will allow you to stay in fights much longer than most assassins, and her number 4 Divine Judgment looks at your enemy and says, what protections? Get out of here, Geb, Athena, Kubakarna, whoever's on your team that's tanky, you're going down. Nemesis is an assassin's dream. She was extremely popular when she first came out. Still a very solid pick in 2015. So enough about her skills, let's talk about the model of Nemesis, the goddess of vengeance. Now the number 1 feature about her model is the mask that she uses to cover her eyes. And that is supposed to signify that justice is blind, which is a very cool touch. Also, the second most prominent feature about Nemesis is the way that she holds her sword, kind of slightly cocked behind her back in a ninja-esque style. Very cool. If you like ninjas, if you're into anime, you will absolutely love using Nemesis. And you'll also really enjoy that her voice pack really adds to the character. It's a very calm, very stern, but very ladylike type voice pack. It's not as loud and flashy as a lot of the other voice packs in the game, but it really works with the character and the demeanor that Hi-Rez is trying to portray with Nemesis. So I really think they did a fantastic job on her voice pack, and all around an incredible job on this character. Your number 2 2014 God of the Year, Nemesis.
Yanis.
And last but not least, the number 1 God of 2014, Yanis. Yes, indeed. If that doesn't prove that this list is unbiased, I don't know what will. Now, when I typically make these top lists, I never know if people are going to agree with me when it comes to the #1 choice or not. But when it comes to Yanis, I think you can't even argue that this is the god of gods of 2014. He literally changed the game, and he proved to all the other MOBAs, all the other games, that 3D MOBA has a lot more tricks up its sleeve, and SMITE is just getting started. And what ability am I talking about? Portal and Through Space and Time. Those two abilities have flat out changed the way that SMITE is played. They have changed the way that escapes happen, the way that initiates happen, the way that team fights happen, the way that backdoors happen. Yanis has literally added a new dimension to SMITE. But as cool as his portals are, Yanis has a lot more up his sleeve. His model has more animation and more movement than any other god in the game by a long shot. Check out his dance, just check out his idle animations, check out anything about Yanis, and he is animated to the T. And his voice pack. You can't even play Yanis without his voice pack. I don't believe that there's a single player out there that plays Yanis as a main character and does not own his voice pack. It is that good. You will instantly throw 200 gems at Yanis, or at high res, for the Yanis voice pack. Now, the unfortunate side effect about having a character as amazing as Yanis in 2014 is, how do you outdo yourself in 2015, right? The bar has been raised to a spectacular height now. So all eyes will be on high res next year in 2015 to see if they can make another Yanis level character. I'll be there, hopefully you will too, and that will conclude the top 5 list of 2014. Once again, my name is FG3000. If you enjoyed this list, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next video. Later, guys.